So let me know when we're ready and I will get. Cool. Thank you everybody for coming. My name is Kara, for those who don't know me. It's really fun and crazy and amazing experience to be up here because honestly time goes by so fast and it seems like yesterday I was sitting my very first Super Saturday at the back by myself. I went to a Super Saturday in Vancouver, one of my first few months as a coach, and I was so excited because Autumn was going to be there, and I've never been so excited because I had some results with the 21 Day Fix and fallen in love with that. I really had a calling in my heart to be a coach. Didn't really understand the business at all, but when they called out the CEO of Beachbody, and I was so excited, I got up and I was like, this is my moment, I'm gonna see her. I was at the back so I could see her first, and then Carl walks through. And I legit thought Autumn was the CEO of Beachbody. I had no clue what was going on. So it's really, I just think every experience here, every Super Saturday is special in its own way, and I'm just really happy to be here. So thank you guys so much. Like I said, my name is Kara. I am from a small town outside of Edmonton called Spruce Grove. That's where I was raised. I'm first and foremost a mom. I'm going to talk about my story, but we adopted our family we adopted our kids, and I'm married to the love of my life, and we're also foster parents, which is a huge part of our life, and really truly the reason I can do things like that is because of this opportunity. So I got started with Beachbody in a really, really hard time in my life. I was on medical leave for my work with the government. I did assessments for seniors with special needs for many years, and that was really embarrassing to me because my career I had a lot of pride in it. The reason I was on a medical leave was because for years and years, my husband and I had struggled to have a family. And if you know anything about IVF or the infertility world, my heart goes out to you because we have been through it all. And through that process, gosh, it still gets me. I really lost myself, would be an understatement. I wanted to give my husband a child. I wanted to be a mom. And every month when I couldn't do that, I found out we were pregnant. I just went deeper and deeper into depression. I just felt like I was like this robot and my goal was to get pregnant. And when I couldn't do that, I felt like a failure. We spent tens of thousands of dollars doing fertility treatments, and they would always work. And it was so exciting. But I was never able to carry a baby to term. So you can understand that even in that headspace, the guilt and the shame that I felt, it was my fault, consumed my life. And I ended up on medical leave. I was 35 pounds heavier than I am now. My husband is a carpenter by trade, so talented. We had spent the few years prior to that, he literally built our home with his own hands. And in that house, I didn't even have a mirror because I couldn't stand the reflection of myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. And I was just lost. I was lost. And the scary part for me is I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get out of it. And I just remember sitting on my couch. It's my team, sorry, just going live, I don't just do that. Anyway, I remember scrolling Instagram as we do and just killing time and trying to not think about my situation. And I came across this girl, and she had pink hair and tattoos, and she was just like this badass fitness mom from Jersey, and she just oozed confidence, and she just had everything I wanted to feel, I was just attracted to her like a magnet. I couldn't get enough of her. I had no idea what she did. She had this beautiful family, and she would do back bends around her kids, and I was like, wow, I need some of that in my life. And she did a call to action, as we sometimes do, right? Or should be doing. And I joined her group, and truly, honestly, I had no idea what I was signing up for. I was just like, here's my maxed out credit card. Don't tell my husband. I just want to be closer to you. Lo and behold, 10 days later, thank God it was a beach body and not some weird thing. A little program showed up at my door called the 21 Day Fix. And I just remember opening up my door, I'll never forget it. And it was February, and it was cold. It was like almost my anniversary again. Wow, time flies. And opening up the door and looking at this package and just like feeling in my heart like I was ready to make a change, and feeling in my heart like this was it for me. So I committed, and I got great results with the 21 Day Fix. It took me a long time to not sabotage myself, not quit, not talk myself out of it. It took me like 6 or 7 rounds to even get through one round of the 21 Day Fix. It didn't come easy to me, but once it clicked, that moment it clicks, I never looked back, and I became obsessed with it because I started to love the person I saw in the mirror again, and I started to feel like myself again, but not even just like the Kara that I longed to be, but like this new version of me. And that was really exciting to me. So I got great results with the 21 Day Fix. That medical leave that I was on quickly transitioned into a parental leave, because even though my husband and I couldn't conceive naturally, it was like we blinked and I had 2 babies under the age of 2 in my home, and we were able to build our family through adoption. We were also foster parents. Everything happened so fast. So here I am now. My parental leave is coming to an end, and I did not want to go back to work. I dreaded it. I did not, want to do the hour-and-a-half commute and drop my kids off at daycare and just get back into the hustle of the corporate world that now, like looking back, really contributed to like the hamster wheel I was on, and the headspace and just the mindset really contributed to, I think, my like coming undone. I just wanted to keep working on myself. I wanted to be home with my kids. So my coach had asked me numerous times to be a coach, and I turned her down multiple times. Most of it, to be honest, was like my ego, and I was like, I have a degree, and I have a fancy government job, and I have no idea like what you even do. I didn't understand anything about the business. So my head kept saying no, no, no. But my heart kept saying, you should give this a try. You could be good at this. I think you should go for this. And I looked at other things I'm doing in fitness and health. Like I looked into being a nutritionist because I fall in love with clean eating. But there was no way I could go back to school. Because if you guys know anything about infertility or IVF, it's like buku bucks. And in a very short period of time, my husband and I had racked it up like $60,000+ in debt. And that was really scary to me because we had this brand new house, everything looked great. My husband at the time was working in Fort McMurray. He called his shift like the 21 and never, because he knew he was never home. He always had to work overtime. We now had 2 kids at home, and I was just like, this is not the life I want to live. But I have to do something. Like I was not in a comfortable situation because I felt very responsible for that debt that we had, because for a long time I felt like it was my fault that we couldn't have kids. So long story short, I was looking for something to do in the health industry, but I needed something with potential, and nothing was really speaking to me. But the same way that I started, the same way that I was attracted to my coach in the coaching world, I started in that time, like during my transformation, in my first few rounds of the 21 Day Fix, I started to see other coaches and watch them and see them traveling. And the same way that I was attracted to it for the community and the fitness world, I was attracted to the coaching opportunity. And one day, like, there was nothing special she said, I was just ready. I joined one of her sneak peeks, and I signed up right away, and that was in July 2014. I said yes. And that was 5.5 years ago, and I never looked back. I quit my job with the government the day I became an Emerald coach. Not because I was like banking it in, but I could see that this could be something. I just felt it in my heart that I could do this. Like I really truly believed that, and I believed in the products and the programs that we did, and as soon as I got Emerald, that kind of just gave me the belief that I could do something and I could figure this out. And I just think that's such an important goal and milestone for people. I resigned. My family thought I was crazy. And I just really never looked back. And that was almost 6 years ago now, which is crazy. Crazy. So that's my story of how I got started. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about vision because it's been a big part of my business. I really want to talk to you guys about not just how to have a vision, but how you can work your Beachbody business and to achieve the vision that you want for your life, because it's an incredible vehicle. Vision has always played a huge part in my life, especially when we were building, trying to have a family. And what's really cool actually that I learned is that humans are actually the only animals that are able to experience imagination. There's no other animals that can have an imagination. So we're the only animals that can envision something before it happens. So in my opinion, that's another gift of the human experience, is be able to have vision and be able to imagine another life for you, a better life. So personally, like I said, vision has always played a huge role in building my family. 5, 6, 7 years of trial, treatments and disappointments and the ups and downs, in our fertility journey alone. And then if you know anything about the adoption world, that's a whole other story. We're still not done. We still don't have everything finalized. So I've always had to hold on to that, of what I want for my life, and just be really relentless of not giving up, keep going, trying new things to get there. So in building my family and also in building my business now for 6 years, it's been an uphill battle. It hasn't been easy for me. It's been a lot of trial and error and ups and downs, good days and bad. But I'm super excited to share with you guys how you can incorporate vision into your 2020. And then again, how you can use Beachbody as a vehicle to truly get you anywhere you want to be, which is super exciting. Okay. So I think the one thing that I love, I have to just say that I love so much about this business and that I feel it's so different, is that Beachbody is the business of giving people a second chance at life. That's what it was for me. It gives people, we're in the business of transformation. That is so exciting. And this business has done so much for me, but at the end of the day, I truly believe that the best things and the things that I love and the reasons why I'm going to be here forever are not ranks, or not an income. And it's just the opportunity to work on myself every single day and just become the best mom and the best wife and the best friend that I can be every single day. That just means so much to me. My first year in my business, just to give you guys a sense of my goals and my vision for my family, my first year, my vision was to, what was my vision my first year? Was to bring my husband home from Fort McMurray. So like I said, we had 2 kids at home, we had a big amount of debt. I wanted to supplement our income enough to just be able so he could work at home. And I worked really hard to do that. I did whatever it took. So a lot of challenge packs. In my second year, in my first year, we were able to do that with a lot of hard work. In my second year, we tackled the fertility debt, which was so huge, because I wish I could say all we had was fertility debt, but you add on the student loan and the car payment and just little normal things, and we were looking at close to $100,000 in debt. So my second year my big goal was to pay off the fertility debt. My third year, we paid off all our debt, which was the best decision we ever made. And it wasn't easy, and it was grueling, and it was so taxing, but it was, I'll never forget that day when we made our last payment for the rest of my life, and just kind of committed to being a debt-free family. In my 4th year, I had a vision to take my son, who at the time was 5 years old, and traveling is a big piece of our life. And I just had this vision and this urge and this need to pack up. And long story short, we just had a little boy who returned home to his birth mom, and we were healing as a family. So So we're like, let's do something crazy. At the time, my husband was now not just came home from work, but he was not working at all. Like I was the one in makeup. Not to say he doesn't work, but we were at this place where we're like, let's do something crazy. So we packed up our stuff, we sold a lot, we rented our house, and we went to Asia. And we spent most of last year traveling Bali and Singapore and Malaysia, Thailand. It was absolutely incredible and crazy, and like just experiences that I'm going to carry, my son is going to carry for the rest of his life. And that again took like a vision of like what that could be. We had to come home early from our trip because our foster son, who had been returned to his birth mom, she actually reached out to me and she needed help again. So we were in Costa Rica, like sitting on the beach one day, and then I get a call, and then 2 seconds later, that's what it seemed like. Anyway, I was on the next flight home, back to Edmonton, minus a million degrees. Here we are again, like a family of 4 again. So it's been crazy. I would say now in my 5th year, I was thinking about that because I really like to track my goal, like what we want to achieve as a family every single year, for what we want to achieve and like the goal that I can set in my business to align with that, and that will allow me with that. And this year I was thinking, I was like, what have I done? Like what has really been special to me? And I'm just really thankful for this exercise because this year for me has been like a year of just service, really, truly. And it's been a crazy year for me, but it's been so rewarding and fulfilling because I was able to, like, at a drop of the hat, another woman called me and said, like, I need help, like, just to be able to do that. And really, I truly think that's what coaching is about. I mean, there's amazing accolades and ranks, and you can do really cool things, but at the end of the day, just like for me to be there for somebody else and like have done the inner work to be there for my son's mother in a place where there's no judgment and it's just like one big happy family. Like that's something this year I'm really, really proud of, and there's no way I would be able to serve on the level in a meaningful way that means something to me without coaching. So that's just kind of like a rundown of what coaching has done for my life to give you an idea. I guess like all I want to say is every single year we've created kind of like a vision for our family, and then we align one goal that I can pick per year that's going to allow my family to do that, and I think that's very important. So I want you guys to know that obviously I've been in the business now for 6 years. I didn't start here. A lot of my coaches come to me and they're like, I don't even know what I want. Like, I don't know how to create a vision. That's something that's always come really naturally to me, to be honest. Like, I've always been able to think about like where I want to be a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. As a coach, before that in the corporate world, like I didn't even think I had permission to dream. So I think that's a huge like life-changing for me anyway. Thing about becoming a coach was just like the opportunity to be able to like ask those questions, because for so many years I was just like, you know, part of somebody else's agenda. So what really helped me, and I'm going to share them with you guys right now, is 3 questions that really helped me, and I want you guys to write these down. If you don't know what you want, or you don't know what you want for your family, there's 3 questions every year I ask myself to help me establish my vision for the year. So the first question is, what do I no longer accept in my life? The second question is, who do I aspire to become? And the third question is, what decisions am I willing to commit to achieve the future I desire? So again, that last one was, what decision am I willing to commit to achieve the future that I desire? And that can be a lot. Like it's the time of year that a lot of people are talking about vision, and people are making vision boards, and like maybe you've made a vision statement, which have all been really helpful in the past. but sometimes I can feel like it's almost too much. Especially like in the early days where you like, or even now, like you want to do all the things and have all the things, and people are telling you to dream big, but it's like, how do you tie it all in? And like, how do you keep focused, which is so important. So today, I really challenge you guys to answer those questions or take a look at your vision board if you already have, and then pick one goal in your Beachbody business that you can set that aligns you to have the life that you say that you're willing to work for. That's really, really important. And that's like gonna evolve over the years. So I challenge you to set one goal that aligns with your vision. It's one thing you can focus on in your business that represents the change you want to become. And it doesn't matter if it's big or small or anywhere in between, okay? My first year, like my first month I hit Emerald. And that honestly felt as good to me as Elite did for the second year. Because I was like, if I can hit Emerald, I know I can do the next thing. Like I just feel like people don't give themselves the credit, because if you can become an Emerald coach, you can certainly help somebody become an Emerald coach. Just gonna help you get to Diamond. If you can get to Diamond, you can certainly help as many diamonds. You can teach somebody else how to be a diamond, and that's how you build like a really big business and eventually get to 15-star if that's your goal. So in my first month it was Emerald. In my first year, Diamond was a really big goal for me. Diamond represented to me like a commitment. It showed me that I knew so I was like desperately searching for proof that I knew what I was doing as a coach, and that's what Diamond represented to me. Was the proof that I was committed. Diamond was like the ring on my finger that I was in this, and it also like the recognition I got from my coach on social was really important to me at that time, because it showed my network too that I was going places and that I was committed, that I was serious, and that I was a serious coach. So it doesn't matter what the goal is. It's like, what does it represent to you? So this year for me, being a 2-time Elite coach was my goal. And it's never about the title for me, honestly. Some people it is, and I think that's really cool. Like, I'm never here to say like rank's not important, titles aren't important. I have used those words and it's only hindered me. Like, I've had to really check myself and say like, because I felt like I wasn't growing, and so, or getting anywhere, and that's because I was using those words. Now I use words like, what does the rank represent to me? And, you know, it took me 4 years to hit Elite. Like, it didn't happen overnight. It was a lot of hard work and personal development, but I really had to shift my mindset to what that goal meant for me. And so Elite for me this year represented a lot of things. Like, the big one for me was, I think for me, Elite was really important, to be honest with you, because I think part of me felt like maybe last year it was like a fluke that I hit it. And I think that we all feel that way sometimes. Like, maybe we got lucky, or we just had a good year. So being able to do it twice in a row was really important, just like solidified who I know I am. So behind Elite as well is obviously a lot of lives change in an Elite organization. You're talking about like hundreds and thousands of transformations. So that's really important to me. The income potential when you hit Elite is awesome. Having a thriving 5-star diamond business, multiple business centers, Elite bonuses, star diamond bonuses. If you guys don't know about those things, like, I would definitely look them up, because they're going to change your family's life. So like the income potential behind that really, really fires me up. Another thing that Elite was important to me was a growth mindset. Like, I want to be growing. It's like that quote that says you're either growing or dying. Like, I think it's truly true. So I always want to be moving forward. I always want to be growing and bringing new people into my challenge groups and my teams. And the road to Elite definitely aligns with that completely. So, and also my value system. You know, like, it takes courage to set goals like that. It took me multiple years. So just have the courage to say, this year I'm going for Elite, or this year I'm going for Premier. Like, it takes some vulnerability, because when you say it out loud, you're like, okay, well, now you have to actually do it. Like, it's really easy not to change. It's really easy to set small goals. It takes guts to set bigger goals. So, and I want to be the type of person that takes those kind of chances. I want to be a risk taker. I want to do hard things. So That's really why it's important to me. So, like when you hear things about like 15 star or elite or premier, whatever it is, it's so much more behind the rank. So just make sure that you know why that's important to you, because I feel like there's so many days, there's so many times throughout this year that I could say like, titles is not important to me, then I'm just gonna step back, I'm just gonna focus on what I wanna focus on. But all those other things that I mentioned are the things that really drove me every single day, on the hard days, on the days I didn't want to show up, on the things happening within my kids' lives. Like the bigger picture is really what fuels me, and you have to have some kind of connection to that. So I think that's really important. So set a goal this year, you guys, and know where you're going and know why it's important to you. So that's step one. So once you have a goal, step two, this is something that really helps me, you guys, is you have to evaluate where you are right now. And is there anybody here that like thinks like, this was my plan and everything went right and this is where I thought I was gonna be? Does anybody here think that? I don't think any coach thinks that. So there's two parts to this. I think you have to evaluate where you are and get honest with yourself. I think one of the best skill sets you can have as an entrepreneur is self-awareness. Is huge. Like, be honest with yourself. We all know why we're not where we want to be. And sometimes it's harder to admit. It's easy to make excuses, but at the end of the day, we are responsible for our lives. So self-awareness is huge. The second piece is this, and just maybe some love I want to send to you guys, is I truly personally believe that all of our journeys are unfolding the way they're meant to. I really believe that. And I know you said like, you're not where you want to be yet, or you're not where you thought you'd be, but maybe somebody else's plan was different for you. Maybe there's a bigger picture. And that has been so true for me so many times in my personal life, my family. And that has given me such a better perspective, because if I got the family I wanted so easily, I would have two beautiful boys that call me mom and love me so much, So just know that your story and your journey is happening for you, and trust in that. Don't spend any time beating yourself up, because I just don't think that helps. So be honest with yourself about where you are and where you want to go, but also have trust that all of our journeys are unfolding the way it's meant to. So that's step two. The third step is establishing a plan. So the cool thing is, with Beachbody, there's so many resources, and I never want to give you guys one more training, because I feel like there's everything you need is out there. They talked about the road to elite, that was my roadmap, that was my plan. I don't try to complicate things, I don't try to reinvent the wheel, I just follow what they tell me, and I do in a way that feels really, really good to me. So if it's emerald or if it's diamond, like it was for my first year, establish a plan. When I wanted to be a diamond coach, I printed off the tracker or the graphic that shows what a diamond was. I put it in my bathroom by my toothbrush every single day so I could stare at it. And I knew what it took, right? I knew what it took to be a diamond coach. That was my plan. Got myself in a push group, I got an accountability buddy, and I just got to work and did what I had to do. This year, coming years later, going for elite for a second time. Elite this year, I'll be honest, wasn't easy for me. It was down to the wire, and I had a choice in the last quarter if I was gonna let it go, or if I was really, really gonna go for it. And that's why I say, it's really important to know why you're doing things and what your motivation is. Because I talk about this all the time with my friends, my coaches, I should say, my friends. I've learned this year that it takes just as much energy to grieve a goal than it is to just buckle down and get to work and make it happen. And that's the decision I made in December. I looked at what I had to log in to get elite. And like I said, you see some coaches and they log in elite in June, and I'm like, how do you do that? That is definitely not my story. I had to re-solidify my 5-star diamond. To be elite, you need 20 active coaches in your first business center. I had to get some coaches active because Now I have a second business center. But anyway, I had to meet requirements in every single field. And that's really important. So I wrote down everything I needed to do. And I thought I was pretty close to elite, and then I realized going into December that I had a lot of work to do, and that was going to be my primary focus. What I did is I have a calendar in my kitchen, and I just wrote down exactly what I needed to do to get to that goal. That was so important to me. So I wrote it down where I could see it, and I told my husband, don't let me talk myself out of this. This is why it's important to me. This is what it represents to me. This is what it's going to do for my family. This is going to be my focus. It doesn't have anything to do with my kids. It's elite. That's it. And I made a lot of sacrifices in December, which I was happy to do. There's always sacrifices for your goals. What else happens in December? Christmas. There's a lot of sacrifices I had to make, a lot of things I had to say no to. But I think that's always true. And I think the universe is always going to test you to how bad you want the life you say you want to live. So, establishing a plan was huge. That's what I had to do. And that always works really, really well for me. It's know what you need to do, obviously, to get to where you want to be. Break it down as simple as you can for yourself. Okay, so step 4 is taking massive action. And I know that's kind of annoying to say. I get annoyed when people say 10x and I don't know. But for me, taking massive action means staying focused and eliminating absolutely all the distractions in your life. And I'm not here to lecture you guys on what the distractions are in your life. I think we all know what distracts us. But for me, what I did is I picked one thing on that list that I had to do to solidify a lead every single day. I just checked one off. I'm if I can just check one of these off one per day, then I know I'm going to be on track. And sometimes it took me 2 days, 3 days, some of those things that I had to do. But that was my goal, was to check off one of those requirements every single day. And in a time at the end of the year where it can be exhausting, even on the best of days with Christmas, and there's a lot going on in my family, we all have our stuff. I was exhausted, to be honest, by the end of the year. I wasn't waking up every single day with the energy that I wanted to do this. But what really helps me in my business to get to the next level is I always tell myself that pushes, they don't last forever. And I'm not one, and I've never really wanted that to be in a hustle mode 24/7, 365. So I told myself this push is only going to last this month, and we're just going to get it done. And that really helped me know that I'm not going to feel like this every single day for the rest of my life. So elite or kids, if it wasn't elite and it didn't have anything to do with my kids, then it was a no in December. And that is really what keeps me focused when I say massive action, and just doing the things that I need to do and not complicating it. So the last step is examining your progress. So like I said, on my elite board, I had one thing I wanted to do every single day. When I was going for Diamond, I wanted to check off one of those coach requirements every single day. When we were paying off our debt, I wanted to, we had a big board too. And I guess my point is that this can, you can do this for anything in your life, is celebrate every $100 that we paid off. That was a big thing when we were paying off our debt. So examining your progress is so important. It's probably the same way that it motivates us in our weight loss. We'd like to see that we're going somewhere. And I think that's really important in your business, because I don't think there's any time, unless it's 5 years later, I don't think there's any time in your business where you're wow, I'm just cruising by and everything's going amazing. It's you look back 5 years later and you're oh wow, I feel like I've done something with this, and I'm going places, and that's really exciting. But when you're in it, to stay motivated, examining your progress is gonna, I think, make or break you, and I think that's where a lot of people get really, really frustrated. So it's definitely a must when you're looking at your vision for your life, where you want to be, and then incorporating a goal to achieve that. So I want to give you guys a little bonus step is make sure that you reward yourself. Nicole always gives me a hard time with this, so that I don't do it enough, or celebrate yourself in a way that feels good to you when you actually achieve the goal. So for me, you guys, like, looking in the mirror and, like, I don't need a lot of external validation. I'm not saying I'm like Mother Teresa, I don't need that. Like, I absolutely like that, I love that. But what has always mattered to me is, like, again, it always comes back to wanting to accept my own self in the mirror and, like, loving myself, and, like, that's always been enough for me. So, like, when I hit elite, it was super exciting. I was really happy to do that, but it wasn't until the next day I was actually in spin class, and it just really hit me, because this whole year, and how I've always kind of felt is that, like, I'm kind of hard on myself, like, in a good way, because it, like, keeps me going. I never felt like I've, like, made it. I don't, like, stand up here telling you guys I have all the answers. I feel like a student every single day myself. But I had that kind of moment in spin class, and I was like, I'm a fucking boss, like, I did it, because I just remember being in spin class for so long, like, that whole, because I would go there if I just need to get out of the house, and just remember, like, can I do this, and I'm just trying to get my energy up, and I was like, had that moment where I was looking in the mirror in spin class. It's like, look what you've done, look at who you've become, look at the people that you surrounded with, look at what we've done for our family, you know, look at the plans that we have, and it just really, really hit me. And so just make sure you celebrate yourself in a way that feels good for you. All of December, when I was pushing hard for elite, I told myself, if I make this happen, like, January is gonna be like, it's probably not the best advice, but, like, the slumber. Because, like I said, like, everybody, and I haven't been like that every year. Sometimes January hits and I'm, like, ready to go. But this year, because of the year that I've had with my family and just, like, where I'm at energetically, I really needed to rest. Like, I really needed to nourish myself. And I was like, I never want to just go on to the next thing. Never just want to just focus then and make my plan, like, 3-time elite. I'm like, what can I do to, like, really nourish myself and, like, also enjoy this, like, quote unquote success that I built for my family. Because for me, like, I never, like, it's always been enough, you know? So it's like, if I can't enjoy this, then, like, what's it all for anyway? So I told myself, like, January, this month, has been the month of nourishing myself, getting the rest I need. I started juicing, like, my nutrition has been 100%, like, in a way that feels good to me. Still doing the vitals, obviously, of course, but that's something, like, it might not sound fancy, it sounds like I brought myself a new car or something, but it's like, just to be able to take the time to give my body and my family what we need is, like, truly the best gift that I can ever have. So, to wrap things up, I want to say, like, I take a lot of pride in what we've been able to do with Beachbody. I really think it's the opportunity of our lifetime, especially to do something that matters in such a deep and meaningful way. It gives me a lot of pride to be stand here as a 2-time elite coach and, like, the team that I have and the people that I surround myself with. I think the most important thing, whatever your goal is this month, whatever you want to achieve, it's not even for 2020, it's for 2021, 2022, 2023. Because when you hit these goals and you make things happen, it gives you momentum. And momentum just brings more momentum. Very few, you hear about the stories about, I know they were talking about one of the top 10 girls, and I think it's so awesome, girls who go from 1 star to top 10. Like, that's amazing, but I want you guys to know that your pace is always perfect too. And that's not always, like, there's so much between, like, top 10 and, like, an average. Like, there's so many different kinds of success. And there's so many different kinds of people. Like, you don't have to, like, your story is gonna unfold the way it's meant to, and I just think that's really, really important. But your momentum, whatever your goal is gonna breed more momentum, and that's certainly been my experience is that every year I just kind of build on my success. And it all started from hitting Emerald in, one of my first few months, and then setting the next goal, thinking about what that represented to me, thinking about what that could do for my family, thinking about what that meant in my character and who I could become. And that's truly just, like, why I keep showing up every day. It's truly just to be the best version of myself and grow into the woman I know I'm meant to be. And I'm really proud of that. So there's one quote I just want to wrap up, and one quote that really spoke to me about vision is that most people will overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So just remember that. It's truly not, it's important, but it's not everything what you did in 2019. It's the momentum that you build into 2020, right into 2025. And I'm just really excited to watch you guys and get to know you guys more and learn and grow from you guys and do this together and see what we can do with our lives together. So thank you so much.